Welcome back to First Listen, everybody. My name is Tentile, and I hope you're doing well today. This time on First Listen, we are checking out a band I didn't know anything about, didn't know I would ever listen to any of their music until the ribbon breaks, and their second album, Until the Ribbon Breaks. It's a weird thing coming across a band very randomly, and I mean randomly. I was scrolling through all the albums that were coming out this week, and I was like, there's so much coming out, I literally don't know what to jump into. I picked this one at random. Never heard anything from this band going into it, and coming out of it, I want to hear more. So let's get into this first listen. It was an interesting one. The album actually opens with Open. It's more of an interlude, kind of a fade-in track that really clicked for me. I'm not so big on interludes, and I've talked about that in many different reviews. If you've seen any of those, you should definitely see some of those where I talk about them. But this one works really well. I don't know what the feeling is, but it just really works. Count the Lightning. This track has that soft and I don't know what feeling. The vocal delivery had a little bit of 90s Bruce. Like some Bruce Springsteen. I felt that a little bit in there, but that was my initial feeling. I kind of just feel like this band is their own thing. Not trying to emulate anything specifically. I mean, we have the drums and the beat and everything kind of just coming together to keep this track chill, to keep that vibe fully intact. And it's pulled off so well that I faded into this song, and we'll talk about it a little bit more probably. I faded into a lot of these tracks. This one was the first one, so let's keep going. We keep going with Black and White, which is a track. The kind of self-help spoken vocal right there as it chimes in as a nice little interlude really catches you just right. You just can't help but really like this track, and I really like this track. Just the vibe that it keeps you on, where it's just taking you one direction and then taking you another direction, but you're going in all directions at the same time. Very cool effect. I really like this track. Did I say that yet? The effects for this are out there and everywhere. And again, they take you everywhere. And the vocals are soft but loud, which seems, everything I just said there seems like a complete contradiction. And it's because it kind of is, but it's the best kind of contradiction to have. Man, I can't be feeling a track more than this one right now. Speaking of feelings, here comes the feeling. This track does a thing that, well, let's get right up front about it. It melted me. It melted me in the best way. There is a second vocal that we haven't heard up to this point. We're early in the listen here, but it's done so well and mixes in with the other vocals so well that I kind of want more of it on this album. If we're thinking in retrospect here, you could have sprinkled that in anywhere, but they were very measured about it. Put it where it needed to be, put it where it fit, didn't overdo it. That's super smart. That doesn't happen a lot anymore. Definitely not. Whether we're talking about the keys, I'm not sure if they're synth or what exactly is going on there. But everything kind of just came together so perfectly. Whether it's the vocals or whatever it is, it has me spun a little bit out of my element. And it's a beautiful thing to be in that moment and realize, oh, this track actually ended and we're on to the next track, but I didn't realize it. That's a beautiful feeling for me, especially because it means I actually fell into the track and I escaped completely, which is the point of music. It's one of the biggest reasons I listen to music. What a feeling to have. Infectious tunes and beats that just take you on a journey. We have Push Pull, which I feel like is talking about an actual journey through life, you know, money and class and living through everything. I just don't know what happened to me on this track. I feel like there's more to say about it, but again, I got lost in the track, which is so good for me. I might have to listen to this one again to fully understand what happened to me, but for right here, this was beautiful. And I can't think of anything better than that. Just beautiful. You Are Not to Blame. This is, it might as well be an interlude. It's a soft transition of soft vocals and soft everything into one match. This is a track that actually comes in a little more low, a little more down tempo, little, not quite melancholy vibe. I wouldn't say that, but it definitely is down a notch. And it's telling a story of, you know, this darkness, and a little bit of love in there, and how all of that goes together. And I couldn't be more blown away by a track, because the little vocal in there of So Lonely that actually repeats and repeats, and every time you hear it, it actually means something different, at least to my ears. It just, as it came through, it was just like, there's a message in each one of these So Lonelys that I need to kind of unpack this and really understand what's going on. And it was so beautiful, and man, I really am affected by this track. Wow, I wasn't expecting this. We have another heavy but soft vocal that comes in with this slightly distorted voice and picks you up and brings you in with Use Me Up, a track that, man, once I started hearing the lyrics for this and actually taking them in and processing everything, I was just as affected as any other track on here, and every track on here feels like it has had some effect on me. Man, I mean, even the strings spoke to me, but not as much as the lyrics. If you're gonna use me up, like if you're going to completely take me, take all of me, like, oh my gosh, that's some deep stuff. Wow. And we have another track that I'm going to mispronounce. I think it's Perocher. We're just going to go with that. This track kind of builds and then comes back down and then goes back up, and really has a lot of high moments, but I don't really know what's going on this, because the song had me so much. It just grabbed me completely. I mean, whether it was the synth or the vocals, I just don't know what happened. It just caught me so well. What is happening to me? My Love, a romantic track that has very romantic vibes and tones. Everything feels romantic. The scene is set for romance, and we're down for it. It really went there. You know, some bands will do a romantic kind of track and it doesn't hit. This one hits just right. All the right tones. That feature is spot on. I really have to dig in and figure out who that is. Maybe we'll put that here when we find out. Unbelievable production on this track. Unbelievable. Maru, I hope I'm pronouncing that. Probably not. This track kind of just comes in. It just comes in as soft as it can, and everything fades and all of that. But that bass line, I feel like every once in a while you have a bass line like this that kind of carries the track. You know, you're vibing to the vocals and instrumentals and everything. But this bass line to me sticks out because when it drops out, I was like, what happened to the song? And then it does eventually bridge back. And I was like, oh, well, we're back again. That is a heck of a feeling. I don't know if I've felt this before for a bass line. This album ends with Close. A track that is very reminiscent of Open. They use the same beat, and I didn't even realize that until I got the whole way through. It took me a heck of a while to figure that out. And everything feels to me a little Godspeed-esque. That vibe and, you know, that one note that kind of just hits and it feels like you're just cascading. That might be this whole album for me. What an experience, this album. Top to bottom, this thing is amazing. I'm really, truly impressed by what this band has done. This is an unbelievable album. I 100% recommend it. This is the first 10 that we're seeing this year. This is a perfect album, top to bottom. I don't know how else to feel about it. I feel like if I say too much more, I may get into a place I can't get back out of, which is another cool feeling. Totally check this album out. Hit up those comments down below with your thoughts about this album. I really loved it, and I think you will love it too. That's gonna do it for this first listen. I hope you enjoyed. Check out First Listens in the future by hitting that subscribe button. Man, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.